Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win. Now the 2-1. Line drive to Minnesota. Just as they score the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Had reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series.
The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Back to throw. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them away from their faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings, long drive, left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run! The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins.
Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an earthquake.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. Just hits it back. Home run.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a jam. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Hey! Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
All right,
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the program. I am Dan Scott. No one else wants to be. How are you today? Good to be back in studio. Did it from home yesterday. Back here today. Got a busy day on campus, a busy week, as you might imagine, with sports beginning to cross over. And, of course, our baseball countdown. Actually, it says 4 days. It's actually 3 days from today is when the season will throw its first pitch here at Latham Stadium. So let me make sure that our high-tech graphics department is completely caught up and correct. And there we go. As if by magic, we are now at 3 days and waiting. 3 days and moving forward. To that end, we have on our countdown of 9 big moments from last season, we have moments 4 and 3, which will catch us up today. And then tomorrow will be moment 2. Thursday will be moment 1. I will go ahead and tell you that, ironically enough, on Friday, the opening day of baseball season, I will not be doing a show for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have a routine medical screening where we're going to take some blood work done and do all that stuff in the morning. And that's also the day that my tax guy said, if you want me to do your taxes, you need to be here at 9 a.m. So I want him to do my taxes, so I'm going to be there at 9 a.m. Don't fret, however, because on Thursday, Brett Harker will be in here. We're going to do a preview of the season. I have the ability to record that, and given that and maybe a couple of other things, just depends, may be able to put together a pre-recorded show for Friday. But I can promise you this, we will be on the air on Friday afternoon from Latham Stadium with the first pitch of the 2018 baseball season here on the Campus FM, on the SoCon Digital Network video-wise, and at FurmanPaladins.com via Stretch Audio. So we've got you covered for opening day, and we're looking forward to it. And we'll continue the countdown tomorrow, or actually today, with 4 and 3. And again, 9 through 3, not in any particular order. Just big moments from the season, and mostly from the second half of the season. But moments 2 and 1, I think, are the 2 biggest moments of the year last year. And we'll start debating that tomorrow and on Thursday when we get to number 1. And Brett Harker will be here on Thursday, so I'll actually hold what I believe was the top moment of last year until he's here. And then he and I will discuss it and see if he agrees with me or not. And if he doesn't, that's fine. He's been wrong before. It won't be the first time. Somebody will tell him that if he's not already tuned in. I don't know. But in any event, we're happy to have you with us here today. You know our goal. If you are off to a great start, we try not to do anything to mess it up. If you're not off to such a good start today, maybe something we do will provide you with a little bit of a lift. And mostly, above and beyond anything else, our goal is to try and learn something we did not know by the time the show was done. And for some of us, as I say, that's always easier than it is for others. Got a good show lined up for you today. I'm really looking forward to spending some time with our in-studio guests coming up at about 10:25. Wally King is the interim head coach of the Furman softball team. They got off to a 2-2 start on the 2018 season this past weekend at Auburn. And for a guy ready to coach his first game as a collegiate head coach, he had to wait an excruciating extra 48 hours or so because the Paladins were supposed to open at home last week at Pepsi Stadium, but because of rain, that got washed away, so they had to wait until they got down to Auburn, had to fight some rain there, but got 4 games in, went 2-2, including a very, very dramatic comeback win over Wichita State. So we're going to talk to Wally about that. The circumstances, he was hired by former coach Kyle Jamison to come in as an assistant coach in this past offseason. And Kyle, of course, had a wonderful opportunity to go to Clemson as the top assistant and associate head coach on their new staff as they're getting ready to begin play for the first time ever in softball. And obviously, moving to a Power 5 school, that's going to come with a significant pay raise, even going from a head coach to an assistant. So it was a wonderful opportunity for him, which gives Wally a great opportunity. And he's operating this season as the interim coach and coaching to get the position full-time. We will see what he has to say about all of that. Also today, the 4 greatest words in the history of the English language. And I'm talking strictly from a secular standpoint. I'm not talking from a religious standpoint, but from a secular standpoint, the 4 greatest words in the history of the English language. Anybody who knows anything about me knows what they are, but just in case you don't, we'll be revealing those coming up in just a little bit as well. Our show is brought to you each and every day by our friends at the Atlanta Bread Company. They're located in Cherrydale Plaza, just down the road from campus. The food is great. The people are better. Jeff Massey and his staff go above and beyond when it comes to customer service. They treat you right, and they have been such great, great supporters of what we do here on this show on a daily basis. I cannot encourage you enough to go see Jeff Massey, the Atlanta Bread Company. Enjoy the food, enjoy the people, and thank them for what they do with us here on the Dan Scott Show. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We will get into our countdown highlights 4 and 3 from a year ago. And, yeah, you might imagine chicks dig the long ball, so there's a little bit of a hint. Dan Scott Show continues after this. We'll be right back.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingles, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
All right, we are back. It is about 11 minutes after the hour here on the Dan Scott Show on this Tuesday edition of the program. Overcast and cool. Some more rain possibly. Matter of fact, it's looking like Friday from a baseball series standpoint is going to be the only day that's going to be a certainty that there's not going to be rainus interruptus. I think that's the official Latin term. Somebody who went here to Furman and studied languages might be able to tell me, but I believe that is Latin. Rainus interruptus is the modern translation is rain delay. We could have some issues on Saturday and Sunday at the Old Ball Orchard. But we will do what we can do and press forward as always. I want to tell you about a new sponsor here on the program, Security Complete. Told you about them on Friday and then again yesterday. Local ownership, installation, and service is done by local people. They do not subcontract it, and they have a combined 40 years of industry experience. Now, again, I told you that I was a customer of a very popular company and was completely satisfied with the service that I got from this particular company here in the upstate for a long time. And then they were bought out by a larger company. And that posed an issue for me the first time we accidentally set off the alarm, which we seemingly do quite a bit in the Scott household. And I was gone when the alarm was set off. My wife was home by herself. I got a phone call. My phone is the first line of defense in that thing. And I got a phone call from an 800 number that I didn't recognize. And as I've said, I don't know about you guys, but my cell phone has been getting bombarded lately by telemarketers. So I just blew it off. I didn't answer the phone. Well, it turned out it was this company, and I had no idea that they were calling, and it caused a whole chain of events that ended up with the sheriff actually coming out to the house wanting to make sure my wife was okay. Well, bottom line is, with Security Complete, you're dealing with local people who are going to install and service the equipment, and the monitoring system is in North Carolina. So when you get a call, when the alarm goes off, the first phone number on that list, when it comes up, it's either going to say Security Complete, or the call is going to come from a 704 area code number, so you can put that in your phone. You know who it is when they call. You don't have the issue that I have. The other best thing about it, I think, is there are no contracts. You buy the equipment, it's yours, and then they're not going to try to tie you into a 2-year contract or a 5-year contract. Their monitoring rates are significantly less per month than the competition, and they do it all. And by the way, the thing I love most about it is I bring you back onto the screen here. I can completely control it with this little device right here. That is Security Complete. You can give them a call today at 864-546-0360, 546-0360, or you can check them out on Facebook at Security Complete, and welcome them to the program. All right, our baseball countdown of the biggest moments of 2017 to get caught up, numbers 4 and 3 today. Number 4 comes from the first game of the Southern Conference tournament. And Furman, of course, opened up with Wofford on that first day of play, I think on, Wednesday afternoon, I believe. And they were facing Wofford left-hander Adam Scott, who had given them just incredible difficulty over the previous 3 seasons. You go back, in fact, to when he was a freshman, and he beat Furman with a complete game 1-0 shutout in the tournament that eliminated the Paladins. So they have had some issues against him. However, it would not be the case this time. It's top of the first inning. It's already 1-0 Furman when Cam Whitehead stepped to the plate. I believe that was pitch number 20 in this first inning for the junior lefty. 2-2 pitch. Long drive. He hit it high. He hit it deep, and it is gone. Over the green monster, way out of here to straightaway left. 3-run bomb for Cam Whitehead. It's 4-0 Paladins. By the time it was over, they would have put up 10 earned runs on Adam Scott before they chased him, I believe, early in the third inning. And Furman won that game by the mercy rule, and that began the run that took them all the way to the final elimination game in the Southern Conference tournament 1 year ago. But it was getting off to that good start that started that run, and Cam Whitehead's blast was the key to that start. By the way, those of you who attended any games at Fluor Field last year, whether it is was the tournament or whether it was the the Drive's regular season games, the Class A affiliate of the Red Sox, you know that on top of the Green Monster, they've got the tall, illuminated Greenville Drive sign. Cam Whitehead's home run hit the D in Drive above the Green Monster, probably 10, 12 feet above the Green Monster. It was, as they say, a goodly blast. So that was number 4. Number 3, you come back just a couple of weeks in the later stages of the regular season at Latham Stadium in a series against the Citadel, and you had the Paladins going up against a guy who would be named the SoCon Pitcher of the Year, left-hander J.P. Sears, and they had beaten him the previous year down in Charleston. He's back on the mound and is throwing the ball very, very well, as you would expect an ace to do in the game Friday night, the opening game of that series at Latham Stadium, until one of our diminutive middle infielders stepped to the plate. Sims Griffith stepped up, and here's what happened.
And again, the shortstop, Kenny, shading a good bit up the middle, back at the edge of the grass for Griffith.
And he swings and he hits it high. He hit it deep, and he got it all. Home run, Sims Griffith. His third of the year, and the Paladins lead it 4-2. He turned on an inside fastball, and he hit that baby an absolute ton. If memory serves, that ended up being the final score in that game. I don't have my book with me, but I think that was the final score, 4-2, and Sims Griffith did. He put an absolute charge into that one. So that wraps up today's portion of the countdown. That was moments 4 and 3. Tomorrow, we'll have what I believe to be the second most important moment of the 2017 baseball season for Brett Harker's team. Again, the first 9 through 3 are pick 'em in any order. But I believe tomorrow is the second most important, and Thursday is the most important. And I'll have reasons why for both. And as I said, Brett Harker will be here on Thursday, and we will talk to him about that. We'll actually hold the clip until he gets here. I'll play it, and then he and I can discuss whether or not he agrees with me that that was the biggest moment of 2017, or the most important moment of 2017. And I think there's maybe a difference. You might be splitting hairs a little bit between biggest and most important. But anyway, whatever. Number 1 coming up on Thursday. All right, Wally King should be here shortly. Before we go to break, just a reminder about our friends at Hall's Chop House. Guys, you want to make your wife happy? You always do, right? What's the old saying? Happy wife, happy life. You might still be able to get a reservation for her and yourself at Hall's Chop House for Valentine's Day tomorrow. I don't know if you can or not, but I can tell you this. You can go tonight. You can go Thursday, you can go Friday, you can go Saturday, you can go 7 nights a week. You can also go for brunch on Sundays. Why would you go? Well, the steaks are exquisite. Allen Brothers Prime Steaks out of Chicago. When we went a couple of weeks ago, I had the ribeye. My wife had the prime rib, and we had a meal to take home that we both enjoyed again the next day. It was fantastic. Billy and his team there, they understand customer service. Their family has been in the restaurant business all their lives. Billy came on board about 10 years ago. They have a bunch of stuff in Charleston, including the originals halls, and they've brought that here to the upstate. They're in downtown Greenville, right beside Channel 7 on Main, and you are going to absolutely love it. Hall's Chop House, whether it's Valentine's Day or any night, check them out and tell them that you heard about them here on the show. All right, Wally King should be up with us in just a moment. When we come back, it's the Dan Scott Show on a Monday, and we'll return in just a moment.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
All right, 10:24. We continue here on the program. We expect Wally King to be walking in the door here any moment to come and spend some time with us here on the show. A word about Ridge Media, a one-stop shop based in Greenville. They do logo, print, and web design, as well as search engine optimization and marketing. And their clients include everything from startups to Fortune 500 companies. They're locally owned right here, Greenville. They have an office in Charleston, a locally owned marketing firm, and it's for 354-6175, 864-354-6175. And Kenny and his folks there will take great care of you. That's Ridge Media, LLC, Greenville, and also an office down in Charleston. 4 greatest words in the English language, secularly speaking, pitchers and catchers report. That all takes place this week, actually starting today at spring training sites all around the country. Pitchers and catchers are reporting, and baseball is officially back here in the 2018 season. Taking a quick look at conference basketball, last night, ETSU was undefeated in the league no more. They went to Greensboro and got their lunch handed to them in the Coliseum last night by the Spartans, 74-56. So ETSU suffers its first conference loss. They're now 22-5 overall, 13-1 in the league. And that win by the Spartans pulls them to within a game of the Buccaneers with just a handful remaining. Furman and Wofford remain tied at 8-5 in third place. Western Carolina is 7-6. Mercer last night beat Samford And that final was 74-69. So Mercer is a game under 500 in the league at 6-7. Sanford falls to 5-10. The Paladins will be going there on Saturday of this week. Citadel's 4-9. Chattanooga and VMI are 3-11 and 2-11, respectively. So, as we remind you, Furman and Chattanooga basketball coming up on Thursday at 7 o'clock. We hope that you'll be in Timmins. If not, of course, you can listen to it on 1440 AM and, of course, watch it on ESPN3. Well, very happy to welcome in our in-studio guest. He is the head coach of the Furman women's softball team, who got off to a 2-2 start down in Auburn this weekend in the Plainsman Invitational, and have their home opener coming up a little bit later on this week. Wally King is here. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Yourself?
I am wonderful. Congratulations on first win and the second win, I guess. I told Brett Harker last year, he should have retired after they won the opener and just gone out undefeated. So you've lost that opportunity now. The weekend's gone.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a weekend for you, though.
It was a great weekend. It really was. We learned a lot about ourselves this weekend. The two wins were great. Marshall, don't overlook Marshall. They're receiving votes in the poll, the latest poll, and they finished 31 in the RPI last year.
Mm-hmm.
So very quality team. To win that one 3-1, Emily DeMonte really throwing a gem in that game. Great game for her. It's so good to see her. She's been working her tail off and really, really threw the ball well. One unearned run really is all she gave up. 5 hits over 5 innings. And then Lindsey Burt comes in and closes the door. Last 2 innings in that one. Team worked hard. We did a lot of little things well in that game, and put some pressure on to force an error to get another run for us. And that's kind of our mentality going into this season, is we're going to try and create chaos. We're going to fly around the field and put pressure on teams, and we're not going to sit back. And so we did a good job of that in our first game. And, then we rolled into the nightcap. And, we had Auburn and number 13 or 14, depending on which poll you're looking at in the nation. Perennial World Series team over the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
And Lindsey Burt throws about as good a game as you can against them. We end up losing it 2-0. We had 2 innings where we had runners in scoring position, and including the 7th inning where we had second and third with 2 outs and looking for that big hit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges we're going to continue to work on, is that 2-out hitting. But an unbelievable game, 2-0. And, the great thing about the game, to be honest, nobody was happy. I think our mentality of our players right now is, hey, we're good, and we can win at a high level. Doesn't matter who we're playing. And that's one of the things we've talked about a lot going into the season, is we're going to play the game against the game. And really doesn't matter who's on the other side, what shirt they're wearing. If we do the things we're supposed to do and do them well, we give ourselves a shot every day out.
Yeah. You like having a team that has reached that place mentally, where they can go into an Auburn, lose a close game, and not be like, wow, we almost beat an SEC team. You want them to be, we should have won this game, and not be happy just to be here, quote unquote.
No, absolutely. That was one of the great things I saw. I was kind of wondering what it would be like afterwards, and we go in and have our meeting after, and everybody was like, man, we gave one away. They felt like they should have won it, and that was great. So from a mindset perspective, as a coach, you love to see that with your players. So that was great, and then still trying to build identity, and what a great identity builder the next day, coming back down from 6-0 in the third. Lindsey Burt goes the next day. Not quite as sharp. Matchup wasn't quite as good a matchup. A lot of right-handed hitters. Her ball kind of riding in on them, and they just were aggressive from the start. And we had to make the early move there and go back to Emily DeMonte. And, Emily comes back in and gives up 1 earned run the rest of the time, keeps us in it, gives us a chance. We have a little team meeting in the 3rd inning. And they just said, hey, here's our opportunity. Who are we? What are we going to be about this year? And if we've talked about scrapping and clawing and digging every inning and never giving up, here's our opportunity. And 4 innings later, we're going with a walk-off win. I pinch hit Anna Rose Borelli in the 7th inning with 2 outs, and Emily DeMonte, of course, gets a big hit in that inning and gets on base and gives us a shot to do that. And then Anna Rose steps up to the plate and leaves the yard, and we leave winners. So an unbelievable comeback, and said a lot about us there as far as.
If only all of your coaching decisions would work out that way, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Yeah.
And then of course the one game that kind of didn't go well at all was the last game against Auburn, the 9-1 loss. But still, the entire weekend. I mean, you tell me, are you happy with what you saw out of your team?
Oh, yes, very happy. And even in the 9-1 loss, you go back through the video, and I went back and watched the game again, and we have 2 errors in the 1st inning, and they score 2 runs. So you take those 2 off the board. We've got another fly ball that I think we need to catch. It's off the wall, but I think we float a little bit, which we've been working on. You take that one away. And then there's another one too that I think we give up 4 runs in that game, and you're looking at a 4-1 or a 5-1 game. If we make the plays we should make, probably 2 things so I'll look at that, and obviously there's some things we need to clean up in that situation. On the flip side of that, one of the things I was really excited about. We don't see we're facing their potential All-American in the circle that day. That's their number 1. And, she starts off the game 3 strikeouts. So we start right off. She mows aside in order. And I'm like, okay, let's see how this is going to go. We don't see 67, 68 in our league very often, if ever. And I'm like, let's see how we respond to this. We haven't faced this. It's tough to simulate that. Over the next 15 batters, she only struck out 2. We made some adjustments. We did some things well. We put the ball in play. I think even when I go back through and listen, their announcers were saying, man, they're barreling up a lot of balls. They're taking some really good swings, fouling some balls straight back. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for progression. We're looking to make adjustments in the box, in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
And I thought we did a good job with that. All in all, it was 9-1. You give Marissa Gombarda the start. The freshman who's not had an inning yet in her college career. She goes in and really through the first 3, without the 2 errors in that 1st inning that give them 2, we're 0-0 after 3 with a freshman on the mound. And so I saw a lot of good things even in that game. Certainly didn't like the way it ended up. But I do feel we continue to grow. And one of the things I told the kids before the game was, we can learn from every situation. So when we go to this, no matter how it goes, we're going to learn from at-bats off a really quality pitcher of how to hit that. And one of our goals is, we want to be in the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. That's our goal. And in the NCAA tournament, we're going to have to face someone like that. We may have to face someone like that to get there. So the adversity we faced in the game against Wichita State to come back was huge for us. The ability to make adjustments against an All-American pitcher from an SEC highly ranked squad and start to move the ball around and take good hacks, that's huge for us. There's just a lot of growth throughout the weekend that I think we can build on and take into the rest of the season.
Do me a favor and slide this way a little bit so people can see a little bit better on camera as we continue visiting with Wally King, the head coach of the Furman softball team. I want to go back to the offseason. Because you were originally hired by Kyle Jamison to come in as an assistant coach, so you're learning the roster, the players under that scenario, and then Kyle has this wonderful opportunity to go to Clemson where they're starting up a program and be the associate head coach over there, and now Wally King is named the interim head coach, and this is a guy who was brought in just a short time ago, so you had to take a crash course in this roster and these kids.
Yeah.
Tell me about that process.
Well, I think I was highly engaged when Kyle brought me in, and Kyle and I go long ways back. all the way back to our Bowling Green days and then Syracuse days. And when he brought me in, he gave me a lot of free reign with infield and hitters, and so I was highly invested in the fall. So I got to know everybody pretty well because he kind of gave me probably more leeway than a lot of assistant coaches get.
Because of the relationship.
Yes, relationship and his understanding of what I could bring to the table, and he was confident in that, and I was blessed enough to let him or to have him do that for me. So, that was an opportunity all fall to really engage heavily with the players. So I knew them very well, more so than I think a lot of assistant coaches may get hands-on with players in a short period of time. And the great thing was, with the hitting and the individual hitting that we did and the infield work, and it just gave me an opportunity to get to know them. I don't think we missed a beat when we made the transition. I had a lot of players come up to me and go, "We loved what we've done this fall. We have total confidence in you leading us." And obviously it was a big blow when Kyle left. He'd been here for 5 years. He's done an unbelievable job here building this program. And he's kind of left it in really good position for us to continue to grow. So, I appreciate everything he's done for me as well and the opportunity that's been presented to me by Mr. Buddy. And so
you and Kyle, as you mentioned, you know each other. You've developed that relationship. How is your leadership style, though, different than his?
Maybe, we all have expectations.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess personality-wise, maybe he and I are a little different. I guess that's where it comes. I guess I'm known as kind of being a little more hard-nosed. We kind of, the expectation is we're going to grind and we're going to get dirty and we're going to do some things every day. Don't let a lot slide. So, if we want to get to where we want to get, then the little things are big things. And it's one of the things we've really talked about a lot and pushed. But again, we have a great staff right now that I'm excited about that really is doing a great job that I also give a lot of credit to and I give a lot of a responsibility to as well there. And they're doing an unbelievable job as well. We have Shelby Pettick, who was here when I came here. Shelby was hired at the same time and doing a marvelous job. We just hired Lexi Davis, who actually was an All-American at Auburn. And so we hire her a week ago, and then a week later she's sitting in the visitor dugout at her old field actually against her old team 2 times. So that was fun. And then we just hired Silver Samuel, who was a starting center fielder at Kentucky. And she's going to come in as a volunteer assistant and work with outfielders and some of our slap and speed kids as well. So we're really bringing in a dynamic group of coaches and working together. I think we can really help take this team to another level.
From your standpoint, as a male coaching a female team, how important is it to get female assistants and not just female assistants, but ones who have that track record that you're talking about of having played the game at a high level and having coached the game? I think the kids still call it street cred. Those people can bring in. How important is that from your standpoint?
Oh, I think it's huge. I had a list of applicants for a month, and I was going through them, and there was a lot of good applicants in there, but I was looking for just that extra something special. And when Lexi Davis filled that in and filled that out, I knew right away that'd be a great fit. One, because she's competed at that level. She's been at the World Series. She pitched in the final championship game in the World Series.
That's a little bit of street cred.
That's
right
invaluable.
there.
That's invaluable. So you're talking about, I know she'd do a great job, from the physical side of things. But the mental side, the ability to talk to them about, hey, here's how I attacked really dominant hitting offenses. Here's how I got through those games. And here's kind of my mindset going into those big games. Those things are huge for our pitching staff as well as the rest of our team. I've played it, but it certainly is different coming from another female that has played at that level. So it's huge. Silver is going to be huge, who's just getting started with us, played at a high level, was MVP at Kentucky. as a center fielder there, and has competed in the SEC as well. And Coach Pettick, who's a very good player at PC. So the staff I have around us has a lot of credibility for the players, which is awesome.
And in many ways, a head coach is only as good as the people he surrounds himself with.
Well, absolutely. We're much better when we surround ourselves with better people. More I can let them do, and the less I get in the way and screw it up is probably better. So.
Yeah, at the same time, though, when the questions come, they generally question the head coach. They don't question the assistant coaches as much.
Well,
heavy's the head that wears the crown, is what I'm saying.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We had a incident this weekend where we had our lineup cards printed, and in the game against Wichita State, when we actually started to come back, they challenged our lineup card. And I just went off our lineup card, which had two people's numbers flip-flopped when they got printed. And so we got an out. So instead of bases loaded, one out, we had first and second, 2 outs. And they got out of that inning. And I was like, guys, pick me up here for my screw-up. So, we're not perfect. I think that's one of the things we talk about, when we work with the kids is – hey, listen, we're not perfect. You're not perfect. We really play, and that goes to what we talk about every day is playing and practicing from a growth mentality. And that is we use the word a lot or the statement a lot, dare to be great.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can be great is if you push yourself. And when you push yourself into a kind of an uncomfortable zone, there's going to be a learning curve, and you're going to have some mistakes, and you're going to have some errors. And as we go through this season, we continue to evolve. We're going to, as we push the envelope, we want to play with our hair on fire. So as we want to play with our hair on fire, there's going to be times we'll run into some outs, and people will be like, well, why'd you go there? Why didn't you go there? The thing is, I want them to look more about all the times we went and were successful. So, it's going to work out. They're believing in the process. The process is working. And, we're just looking forward to getting back on the field again and taking what we learned, valuable lessons from this weekend, and taking it into our next game.
This is Wally King. He's the head softball coach here at Furman, 4 games into his tenure as the head coach. We'll talk about the upcoming schedule here in just a bit, but let's talk about the makeup of your roster a little bit. Is it a veteran heavy roster? Do you have a nice mix of veterans and younger players? How would you categorize it?
Yeah, we have a good core of veterans. We'll be graduating 6 to 8 seniors. We have a couple that are redshirt juniors in their 4th year, and are they going to come back or not come back? I hope they do. They're great kids and players, but that leadership that we have right now is a big piece for us. We'll definitely lean on them for a lot of things. You have Anna Rose Borelli and Lindsey Burt who've been back and perennial starters. You got Lindsey Burt, who's preseason SoCon Pitcher of the Year right now, and obviously stepped up and had the huge game against Auburn to show that's probably accurate. She can do a lot of things there. You've got Brittany Houston at short, who's doing an unbelievable job. Brittany Houston is just solid at short. She's not your flashy shortstop. She just makes every play, and doing an unbelievable job over there. And you've got Emma Ogburn behind the plate, who, when Auburn had called me and asked me about some information on players, so when they're talking during the live game that they can have some things to go back on, I said, Emma's just that hardworking kid. But the thing Emma has that I always talk about catchers have to be able to do is you have to shut down the running game. And Emma's done an unbelievable job. She threw out 2 of Auburn's fastest kids. Great job out there doing that. You have Candace Johnson in the outfield, who is coming back. And Candace had an unbelievable year 2 years ago. Tore it up. Was a preseason player of the year last year. We have a lot of that, and we have a good mix with the youngsters. And and again, their excitement and their energy just adds to everything we're doing. And we have a good mix of power and speed, which is a bonus. We're not heavy in one side or the other, and which gives us the ability to leave the yard and score quickly. Also gives us the ability to put pressure on teams. So, I think we have a good mix and the ability to make a good deep run.
I have interviewed Emma Ogburn for one of our football halftime homegrown athlete segments, players who were born here in the state of South Carolina. And I always ask those kids, what's something about you that most people wouldn't necessarily know. And if I'm not mistaken, her hidden talent is that she can sing.
Unbelievable.
So
her and her mom.
Yeah,
unbelievable singers. We're going to have them sing the anthem a couple times, hopefully this year
that's
during
fantastic.
the season, and they can belt it out, no doubt.
Yeah, so it's not a hidden talent anymore.
No, no.
We're visiting with Wally King. All right, so you're off of you're 2-2, coming off of the weekend. If weather allows, tomorrow you've got a doubleheader at Presbyterian College, and then finally on Friday, get to make your debut here at Pepsi Stadium against Colgate for 2.
Yes.
And in fact, you'll play 5 if the weather holds.
Yep.
You'll play 5 games between Friday and Sunday, 2 against Colgate, and then a doubleheader Saturday with Fairfield, and a single game Sunday against Fairfield. So if weather allows, this is going to be a busy week for you.
Yes, it will. Again, that's the great thing with the depth. That's one of our big strengths, I think, too, depth of our team. I think I used 16 people in the first game of the last weekend. So our lineup card looked crazy, but that's kind of how we want to operate. We want to keep trying to get matchups and move people around and get people involved. I think that's important. And that depth is going to allow us to play weeks like this and not be overwhelmed because we have so many people who can step up and do a number of things.
In a perfect world, will you continue to do that through the course of the season when you get into conference play, or will it be like a basketball coach who will use the preseason to determine some things and then kind of pare his rotation down once the conference season gets here?
Yeah, I definitely think we'll get into that 9 or 10 player kind of starting rotation. But we're going to rely on our bench heavily for matchups, much like we did in the Wichita State game with some pinch hits, and we're going to use base runners a lot. We're going to try and keep everyone involved as much as possible because we have some skilled athletes who can really, in different situations, match up well with our needs at that time. So you'll probably find that we're using 13 to 15 players a game quite regularly.
Well, and it just speaks again to the depth of this roster that you can do that.
Yes.
So that's always good. Just one kind of final thing here. While you're into this season, the recruiting cycle never stops. So from your standpoint, how is recruiting going, and what does that whole thing look like right now?
It's going really well, actually. Coach Jameson, when I came in, I was in the front office kind of by the windows, and he kind of put me in charge of recruiting. So bought some whiteboards, got our stuff up, and we have a great class coming in next year. It's small but really talented group coming in next year. Big hitter, really multi-talented player, catches, plays the corners, can play some outfield, and a pitcher. I also just picked up late an outfielder, very fast outfielder from California who is available, and she'll be coming in as well. The 19 class, we picked up a shortstop from California who also is a track star out there for her high school team. She'll be coming in. We've picked up a center fielder from Arizona who'll be coming in. We've got another infielder coming in. And then our 2020 class, we've had 2 players that have verbal to us, an outfielder, athletic outfielder, and then also a really unbelievably good infielder that I'm really excited about, both of them from Florida. So, in fact, I was on the computer last night trying to finalize a couple things. Yes, you're right. It never stops. It keeps going, and there's been a lot of legislation right now.
Yeah,
there's a lot of concern in the softball world. You have a couple schools that have, one school just verbal the earliest verbal ever in any sport. I think 6th grader verbal on her 12th birthday. There's been a lot of legislation about kind of going with, they call it the lacrosse legislation, and not being able to do anything really with those contacts until their junior year of high school careers. Try and back this up a little bit. It's gotten a little crazy.
I would say that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. But for us, it's going well. We have a lot of people out there. We have a couple 21s on the radar, and that's probably about as early as we'll ever be. And again, with Furman being such a high academic institution, it makes it difficult to go much further than that anyways. You have to make sure that they're doing the things they need to do in high school and from an academic standpoint, which is great because that's who we want. We want those really talented kids, but also those really good kids that are taking care of everything in their life, including that academic side. So.
Well, it's obvious that there are a whole lot of people who want some of your time here, and I've taken you probably a few minutes past beyond what I told you, but I just wanted people to get an opportunity to hear how things have gone from your standpoint leading up to the opening of the season, and now that it's here, man, we really encourage people to get out to Pepsi Stadium. Going to have an awful lot of opportunities to see this team, and beginning Friday again here with the doubleheader against Colgate.
Yeah, we can't wait. Hopefully we get a big crowd. Hopefully the weather holds out for us. That's going to be a big one. We even the game tomorrow, I mean, we've had so much rain that Presbyterian's kind of an if right now. Yeah. But we're excited to get going, excited to be home, and, we'll be home for a couple weekends and give everybody a chance to come out. So, we invite everyone out, and I think it'll be a good show, and we'll definitely work hard. So.
Thank you, man. Let's do this on a regular basis.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That is softball coach Wally King. Stay tuned. We'll be back to close out the program in just a moment. Don't go away.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show. .55, we're back. Final segment of the program. Our thanks to Wally King. If you're a softball fan and you didn't catch all of that interview or you'd like to see parts of it again, we'll be tweeting it out in just a little while, so you'll be able to catch it. I'll also remind you that coming up as soon as the show is done, we are going to be recording episode 14, I believe. Yeah, episode 14 of the All Den podcast. Bob Ritchie will be joining us in here, and also Jordan Lyons will be part of our Get to Know You segment off of the roster. So we'll be recording that, and that should be available sometime later this afternoon. Quick word before we go any further about OpSource Staffing. They are a independent, faith-based, privately held staffing, recruiting, and workforce management company that began in 2007 with a mission to serve and connect great people to great companies. Now, they have 5 branch locations. They're here in Greenville. They're in Spartanburg, Gaffney, and Charleston in South Carolina. And they also have one in Arden, North Carolina. They work in the, let's say, the service industry, providing contractors to companies in need of welders, pipe fitters, and construction, all the way down to materials handlers, skilled trades, production and inventory control, industrial labor, and everything in between. They also have a managed services division that offers on-site managed programs for companies that use large volumes of contract staffing. So call OpSource Staffing today and see how they can streamline your contract workforce for the better. The number is toll-free 866-870-8133, or you can go online to opsourcestaffing.com, opsourcestaffing.com. All right, so we told you about the softball schedule. If you want a chance to see Wally King's team in person, if weather holds, a doubleheader at Presbyterian College tomorrow, which would begin at 2 p.m., and then Friday, a doubleheader with Colgate at 3 o'clock, first pitch for the first game. Saturday, a scheduled doubleheader with Fairfield beginning at 1 p.m., and then a single game with Fairfield on Sunday. It says 11 p.m. on the schedule, but I'm pretty sure that's 11 a.m. Thinking they're not going to be playing late night softball unless, of course, maybe television has stepped in. I think it's 11 a.m. on the schedule. So that is your chances to see, weather permitting, the softball team up close and personal. And baseball is going to be fighting the same thing. Friday looks pretty good. Saturday and Sunday right now are the issues as far as the extended forecast is concerned. But, you know what, one day at a time, one game at a time, and we'll see what happens. Again, if you weren't with us earlier, just a quick recap from last night's action in the Southern Conference. East Tennessee State is undefeated no more. They got drilled at UNCG, 74-56. So the Bucks are still in first place. They're 13-1 in the league and 22-5 overall. Now UNCG is 11-2, just one game behind ETSU in the league. Furman and Wofford are 8-5, tied for third. Western Carolina 7-6 in the league in fifth place. The other game last night was Mercer defeating Samford 79-64, and in doing so, Mercer now within a game of 500 in the conference, 6-7. They are 500 overall at 13-13. Samford, meanwhile, 5-10 and 9-19 on the season. As we get set to say goodbye, just a quick thought about our friends at the Walk a Mile Project. Walk a Mile is a 501c3 nonprofit humanitarian aid organization whose goal is to organize, build, encourage, and invest in ways to meet the physical needs of impoverished communities around the world. What do? Well, they encourage and equip groups on how to go, how to prepare for a trip, how to form a trip, how to raise funds, and how to do things like build houses, feed a village, conduct medical clinics, and so forth and so on. You can find out more and how you can support them by going to the website you see on the screen, thewamproject.org, thewamproject.org. It's a great, great ministry. And in the not-too-distant future, Heath Burdett and his dad, who started the WAM Project, the Walk a Mile Project, will be in studio with us to tell us a little more about it. Listen, thank you for joining us today. Had a great show. Our thanks to Wally King. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Dave Glenn, ACCSports.com, will be here to take us around the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Brett Harker in on Thursday to preview the start of the 2018 baseball season. We're looking forward to all of it. Until then, for all of us here, which is basically me, and our guest today, Wally King, I'm Dan Scott, saying God bless you and so long, everybody.